Today we are joined by ER and Chrissy Rollan. ER is the founder of Grocery App, and Chrissy works in HR and is an HR power woman, if I must say so. And they are husband and wife, and ER left a corporate career to launch Grocery, as Chrissy was head of HR, navigating people, culture, and leadership from the inside. And together, they have built not just companies, but a life where work and marriage constantly overlap.
And we're on that journey too.
Yeah.
We'll talk today about the highs, the lows, the hard truths, and all of the hidden costs that come with that.
So whether you're dreaming of quitting your 9-to-5 job or you're already deep into your own startup journey, I think today this is going to be a good conversation with them. We are going to be learning a lot together. And this one is about de-glamorizing the CEO life and figuring out whether it's really meant for you.
This is Between Us.
Let's talk. Today we are joined by our friends, our newfound friends actually, ER and Chrissy Rollan. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I say newfound friends because literally we met Chrissy and Rollan about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Through Cheska.
We had a super fun dinner, and it turns out, in Iza's words, we almost have parallel lives.
No, I remember.
There's a lot of parallels.
I remember as we were heading home, Ben goes to me, Iza, for the first time in my life, it felt like I was staring at myself in the mirror.
Aww.
Sabi niya, when he was talking to you. And then I said naman, it felt like I wasn't alone in my journey of, yung what you go through, to support a CEO, a startup CEO. So that's what we're talking about, right?
It's the beginning of the
naiiyak si
episode, and I'm getting
Ben.
emotional already. I'm like,
It's true.
Yeah.
So that's why today we wanted, thank you so much for indulging us,
having us.
and being part of the first season of Between Us. No, because we want to talk about what it's like to actually be a CEO of a startup, because everybody, diba, wants to be their own CEO. They have their own company, their own product, whatever. But what does it really take? Yung tawa. Umiyak ka na ba?
Oh, naiyak ako.
not just that. What does it take from the spouse and the family and the support network, right? And that's
Ano ba tayo? Yak na tayo. Ang bilis ha? Dito kami agad.
that's the big one. It's the big one.
You're like, is that
So
how
I
hard
think
it is?
we still have to
Yeah.
introduce. Maybe if you could briefly introduce yourselves and what you do.
Yeah. Should you want me to
Ladies
do it?
first?
Ikaw na, you go first.
You go first.
Should you want us to introduce us
No,
as
you
a
go
couple,
first,
or?
and then I'll just add to whatever
Okay,
you say.
All right. So ER, hello. ER Rollan. I met Chrissy in Singapore. I moved to Singapore right after college in 2006. Worked there professionally in the corporate world for about 10 years or so. I met Chrissy in 2010. Shortly after we lived together, like
Insane.
within months. So
I love it. Like us.
when you know daw, diba?
Baka sabihin, pinopromote ko yung ano,
Ay,
hindi
hindi,
ko.
hindi, hindi. This was pre-Christianity. We don't encourage that lifestyle.
But we don't judge either.
Well, we don't
Yes.
either, yeah. Because we did it.
Exactly.
And then I was mostly in the consumer goods space. So worked for Procter & Gamble, did a bit of consulting with the Boston Consulting Group, then moved to Unilever. And then we came across this idea of really connecting small stores, which in Philippines we call sari-sari stores, to the broader industry. And that was the inspiration of going back home in 2016 to start Grocery. We're now 9 years in that journey. It's still a journey. But I'll stop there for now. And thank you guys for having us. That's a short bit about myself.
Shout out Grocery. Okay, now we move on to Chrissy because she is a power woman as well.
So my name is Chrissy. Hello. So I actually started my career in Singapore. And then honestly, if I probably did not meet ER, I would still be there. So life really began when I moved back to the Philippines, started a family, supported his own business, from losing yourself, finding yourself. And now I found myself really enjoying HR work. So I've been interesting because I've been actually behind the big startups here in the Philippines. Hiring for them, building their organization. And Grocery is actually one of my baby projects.
Okay. But before that, in Singapore, what were you doing?
So in Singapore, I was doing sales marketing and then I was in finance before I found myself in HR. So just before I left for Manila, I was part of a big company called Ernst & Young, but primarily within the HR space, not the audit space.
Gotcha. And guys, di lang niya sinasabi pa, but she is on Instagram. She is on social media. Kung kailangan nyo ng advice, hindi lang sa HR, sa totoo lang, ang daming wisdom nito. But follow her, Chrissy Talks HR.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks sa plug.
Ang bagong ate Chrissy ng bayan.
That's funny.
Diba?
Let's start off from a place of like, what were the expectations going into the life of entrepreneur? So I guess I'll start
Casual ako dito, guys.
with a question. Yeah, you worked at a few big companies. What were your expectations on becoming a founder, CEO, essentially becoming your own boss? How quickly were those expectations confirmed or shattered?
Of course, the expectation is that everything will be smooth sailing. Why would this fail? I'm such a star in corporate, right? I mean, that's...
I love it. I love the candor.
Diba? And a lot of people say usually when they've clocked in decades in their industry, that's what they would think. They would think that it's time for me to give back and start a business. And so because of everything that I've learned, it's now my time to do this. For me, it was particularly an interesting decision because okay naman kami sa okay ba mag-Tagalog? Okay lang?
Oh, yes. Taglish. Si Ben lang ang hindi masyado kakayanin. Tsaka pag hindi niya kaya, ita-translate ko na.
Okay.
I can already, he can speak any language, I can already understand what he's saying. So today.
The language. The shared language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Singapore naman kasi, we have a good life there. So, and it was really about risking it all. But at the time, not knowing what I know, it was very, very egoistic. Like, this is bound to succeed. So, yes. But shortly after, just being plucked out of all your infrastructure, your network, everything that you've built, I moved to Singapore right after college. So I haven't worked here. I don't know the LGU systems here. I don't know, diba? Parang all of those things. So, yeah. So, actually, within... Siguro mga 6 months. Kasi first couple of months, ano ka pa eh, kaya to, di ba? Whatever. And then, why wouldn't Sari Store not want this? I'm making their lives so easy. They'll just order from the app, di ba? This was pre-pandemic. And they're like, no, this is too hard. It's much easier to buy. Like, no one wanted to use the app. And by the time you're like, no salary, pinupuntahan ka pa ng asawa mo from abroad. We had to do a split setup. She stayed in Singapore because I didn't have any salary.
Somebody had to earn money.
Didn't have any funding at the time. So yeah, so maybe around 6 months is when it started to like, this is actually very hard. And then, yeah.
And how old are you when you founded?
30.
Sorry?
30 years
You were
old.
30.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so similar.
Because the idea was if in 5 years or 7 or whatever, nothing happens, maybe I can still go back or maybe I can still have a job, right? So
And what was the why? was it a case of you'd identified the specific opportunity at the time, or was the why initially just I guess the thrust to become an entrepreneur and you'll figure out whatever it is?
Because I graduated from UP Diliman. May ano yan eh, I remember si Professor Winnie Monsod was one of my professor, and she said, if after you graduate, you leave the country, don't show your face to me because it's taxpayers' money that paid for education, diba? So, which is exactly what I did. I left immediately after graduating. So, in my mind, I always have this thing of, at some point, I'll go back. But because okay naman kami in Singapore, it has always been a tough one. And I told myself, it has to be a business that could be massive for it to even be a starter. And I felt like sari-sari stores was a big enough space. So that was, I guess, the trigger.
I was a mix in my 20s. I was in a mix of corporate and startup environments.
But HR startup.
We founded a recruitment company in Hong Kong. I was the number one hire, so I felt like a founder, a partner. We did that over 4 or 5 years. So that was my first taste of, I guess, being an entrepreneur. And then I came to the Philippines and started. It was a bit different for me. I knew I wanted to create my own business, create something of impact. And for us, the first few years of our journey was identifying what that was. So we built 4 or 5 different apps. Some crazy, silly stuff. We built a dating app. We built a karaoke app.
Gifting. There was like a gifting app, right?
Yeah.
You're a pro na in this space.
But Bookie was one of those, and Bookie was the one that stuck and got a lot of organic traction, and that's what we're still doing today.
What was the one thing that you thought was actually going to be easy but turned out to be really hard? Apart from the sari-sari store and LGUs that you mentioned.
You would imagine that you are mentally and emotionally, psychologically prepared for what's to come. That's you coming in, you think that, let's get it on.
But I got this.
I got this. But really, no. It's hard kasi when you have to be the one to believe in everything that's happening because your employees, your customers, your suppliers, they take their cue from you. So if you're even in your worst days where you're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, you have to show up and be like the beacon of hope. Otherwise, the entire enterprise shuts down. So
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, but wait. Because actually, we didn't really have time to talk over that dinner, right? It was Chrissy and I who were talking at the other end of the table. And hearing this from you, you're describing my husband.
I said it.
It's like you're listening to the Filipino Ben.
Yes, exactly. Well, Pinoy din was, but but that's what we were talking about. So,
Yes.
Chrissy, from your end, like when ER started this journey, what were your thoughts behind this? Like when he told you?
Yeah, so I wear 2 hats when he told me. But I was wearing 2 hats. One was, of course, the supportive wife. Because hands down, when I had a moment when I wanted to be the one, kasi syempre after school, most Filipinos after university, the pressure to jump right after and earn money, 'di ba? It's really a priority. So I didn't even have time to take a break. So at the time when I said to him, I'm so tired of working, he really supported me with my cooking journey.
Okay.
So I felt that as a wife, here he comes. He's very excited about something. Parang the best thing that I can do is to support him. But then the other hat that's more logical that I'm wearing is the HR hat. How do you say to your husband who's so bubbly about an idea that, wait lang, babatukan kita? Because your idea
You
and
know
what
okay,
you
I do
want.
that to you all the
Yeah,
time.
what you want, however amazing it is, it's so selfish. It's so
You already had that.
yeah, it's so selfish because it's all about I want to do this, I want to be like this. Kasi you go back to ano eh, why are you doing this in the first place? Why this? And the second question there is why now?
Now.
Does it have to be now, or this idea can sit first
Wait.
and plan? And that's not to say that I'm somebody who calculates risk all the time. I do. But then there's always a leeway in terms of risk taking. I honestly wanted to tell him to his face that you are amazing, no doubt. From a talent standpoint, you are a superstar. But timing is everything.
Yes.
Timing is so important because the last thing I would want is that here's a brilliant guy who happens to be my husband. Very lucky me. But hindi pa siya hinog eh. I had a hard time to tell him na ito yung mga moments sa married couple, you choose your battles.
You didn't tell me actually.
I did tell you after you failed.
Yeah, at the time she
But
didn't
in
tell
a
me.
very subtle way na hindi ko siya sinabing
Yeah,
I told you so. I said, you know, adversities happen and I'm glad that you saw yourself arise from this adversity. Pero in my head, buti nga sa'yo hindi ka nakikinig sa akin.
How many years into the marriage were you when you decided to
four?
do grocery?
4 years.
5 years.
5 years into the
Wait,
marriage.
2012, 2016.
Ay, sorry. Kala ko
Yeah.
2010 tayo kinasal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So
Three.
but you were dating also before that.
So, our dating kasi is very short
Fast.
eh.
Ah, that's right. I
Oo,
remember.
it was very fast. And we met 2010, we got engaged 2011, we got married 2012.
Okay.
And honestly, it's so different. You know, they say, diba, ang marriage may different stages din yan eh. ER and I never went through any challenges during our courtship, our boyfriend-girlfriend, and marriage. We were always on cloud nine, both successful in our jobs. We had a very comfortable life in Singapore amidst the thought of pag-OFW ka. Because we were OFWs. And then when we went back to the Philippines, parang, oh my gosh, is this our life? We cannot even afford to have our own house. And I remember I had to borrow money from my mother, secretly, because we can't even afford to buy a car. So I had to borrow down payment from my mother. So we can afford to have a car. So he has something to use.
Yeah.
During his drop off sa mga sari-sari store.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing I'd add, which is an important point, because we were in a different financial position then. It didn't really, at least for me, it didn't really feel like the marriage came together in a way that it did after. Because we were both earning, so our finances are completely separate. We don't even need to think about, oh, let's budget, or parang I try and sort of, my money is your money and your money is your money.
No,
and
his
whatever.
money is my money. My money is my money.
Dapat. Ideally.
But I guess one of the
life.
things that happened is because we had to go through this difficulty, we were also able to recalibrate our marriage and come together in a stronger way, I suppose. So this entire thing is also
A blessing.
a blessing.
It was a blessing.
We understand it. We feel ya, brother.
I guess on a simpler level, what does CEO life look like from the outside versus the inside?
Now or then, or I suppose. Or
Then.
CEO, I don't think the title doesn't even, you don't even feel like calling yourself that in ground zero. But basically, you have to do everything, right? You're the salesperson, you're the accounting, you're the lawyer, you're the tax person, you're the... So, and if you don't do something, it will not happen and everything breaks.
Yeah.
So the 100% of the operation relies on you. 100% of business development relies on you. So I suppose that's that, right? And I think people need to understand that you cannot hire your way into your product market fit.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, I know this concept. Maybe I'll get someone to run the test. I've never seen that work.
Yeah.
in any company. You have to be the one to experience the pain point yourself,
Yep.
the customer experience, the whole product journey. So yeah, pretty much you, one man team.
Yeah, there's kind of a myth you hear now and again that when you are the boss, you're the CEO. There's a lot of like freedom implied in that. What are your thoughts there in relation to founding a company, being a CEO? Is there any freedom?
I guess freedom is it's a bit of a tricky concept, right? Because a lot of people think freedom is just doing whatever you want to do, as opposed to the freedom to do what is right or what is what would add value, right? Which is completely
greater good.
for the greater good. Like it's a
Yeah.
completely different concept, right? And I think I had to learn that the hard way because when you are running your own company or setting it up, you make your own rules. And so sometimes you think that by trying to do shortcuts here and there or trying to, let's do it this way versus that way, you're being free. But actually, you're unable to truly create value. I don't know how to give a specific example. I don't know if I'm making sense. But I suppose you need the constraints of what's your value system, diba? Who you are, what do you stand for, what it is that we're trying to do. Those guardrails actually gives you the freedom to do what it is that you're intended to do. It doesn't come off that obvious in the beginning because you're trying to survive. So you'll do everything you can so that the company doesn't shut down. But then you realize you're making a lot of these bad calls in the short term because you think you're allowed to, but actually you're setting yourself up for failure.
If it's your startup and you own it, you basically, as you said, make the rules. And I think what's tricky is that if you're making the rules and you don't have somebody to answer to, there is no bird's eye view of what you're doing. So you are prone to making these mistakes because you feel like, and lalo na if you surround yourself, let's say, with yes people.
Yeah.
Right? If you think you're putting the right people in place, but you're actually just putting people who are just saying yes to everything to make you feel smart and that you're winning together, you're doing this together, but really you're all, what if, like, diba? I don't know, because I've never run I've never been in that position. But let's say lang, for me, as an artista, if my whole team are all just yes people and I'm actually making the worst possible shots or choices in my career, then it's the same thing, right?
Yes.
You have to have, that's why I have my manager or I have someone, a mentor, somebody that I go to saying, am I still on the right path or am I making the wrong decision?
I think that relates to what ER was saying in terms of guardrails.
Yeah.
There's a set of internal rules and systems
Yeah.
that allow at least the people internally to voice opinion, to say no, actually, no ER or no Ben, that's not the right call. I have a different view.
And it changes.
Yeah.
Like what those guardrails look like in your first year when you have 10 customers versus if you have 500 customers. It sort of evolves. I do have co-founders with me. That at least we were sort of in there a bit together. But that was very important to
I think just to add on that, if in the absence of shareholders, kasi the whole concept of naman the shareholders and especially if you have a board of directors is you get them because they're probably the knowledge, the depth, diba? The collective knowledge in terms of their experiences, you learn from them. And in the absence of a team or a group like that is to make sure that for all CEOs out there, whether at which stage you are, whether you're set up, scale up, diba, is to make sure that you hold yourself accountable to have accountability partners. So that can be in a form of outside of your wife, diba? Mentors. So you have to surround yourself with people who has done it before, diba? Who actually has very good value add in terms of the industry, the experience, but also extend that also to not just in terms of the industry, but ako in my years of working with startup founders, what I find very good is to have holistic accountability partners. That's your spiritual accountability partners or mentors, 'di ba? Hindi lang sa negosyo. Even sometimes I've seen some founders even have marriage counselors. Kasi as a startup CEO, you're not just operating and serving yourself and the organization. It brings out the best in you if you also have a very strong support system in the form of your family. And supporting a startup founder, it's not just time away from the family, but it's also making sure that you constantly feed your partner, 'di ba, positivity. Because like what ER said a while ago, when the going gets tough, it's always the startup founder who gets the shittiest of all the shit. Ay, sorry, pwede ba magsabi nun?
Pwede.
Yun. So,
Dito pwede.
who will they turn to, 'di ba? And usually they will be the most vulnerable with their spouse. So, that's the encouragement to make sure that you have those guardrails, part yun ng system in place to have accountability partners.
Hey, whether it's a struggle you can't seem to get through or a dream that seems too daunting for you, this is Mirza Season telling you that you can do this. Let's figure it out or find someone who can. I'm a confidence coach and host, an ex-editor, ex-model, ex-20-something, ex-30-something, exactly who you need to help you navigate through life's ins and outs. What are you waiting for? Let's go! You can do this.
What you touched on is probably I would argue that maybe the biggest thing that isn't maybe discussed enough or isn't known in relation to people embarking on this entrepreneurial journey. I feel not enough people know how the growth and success is directly correlated with the support system.
Yes.
And like for you guys were already married before you started the company. For us, it was a bit different. I already was on this journey. I met Iza, and so she didn't really have a choice. She just kind of had to accept. And as we went along, she learned about all of this. And a lot of times, even to this day, she's like, what the heck did I get into?
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to talk about here. It's the cost that no one talks about, right? I met Ben. I was, I had already clocked in 10 years in the business, kind of like already an outlier. Sabi, naka 10,000 hours na siguro ako by that time, diba? So I already had some kind of success. And then I meet Ben. I wasn't really sure what he was doing, but tech sounded so cool, diba, at that time. Okay, from the karaoke app to ganyan. And then Bookie came about, and that was it. Parang okay. He always kept saying, in 2 years, exit, we're gonna sell it. In 2 years. And so here I was, tatanga-tanga, wala namang alam sa life.
Young and naive.
Oh, and so was I. Ang ganda ng accent, di
Cute
ba?
kasi, cute.
Tsaka, well-to-do
Guwapo.
family. I mean, parang check. Hindi tayo bulag. Guys, focus close-up, tight shot, Ben Wintle. Di ba? If only he had used his good looks to make money as an artista, napakayaman po niya. But no, not Ben Wintle. He hates being in front of the camera. This is it. This is the most he's comfortable he's gonna get. Photo shoots, forget it. He's always like complaining. Anyway, because of course he has to use his brain. Baka ano yun, maybe that's a complex. Like, I'm not just good looking, I'm also smart. Diba? Pwedeng yan. Is that it? Do you think that's it? But anyway, we'll talk about that later. So anyway, I met him, and then, okay, support. And then, Pookie was actually doing pretty good, leading to the pandemic. And then, or maybe I wasn't feeling it because it's not like, we were living together, we got married. I knew already kind of around that time that I think financially, it's not like I asked him, "Can you show me your passbook?" And here I was spending all the money.
Passbook.
I'm sorry.
It's so funny.
Like,
Even if you said that to me in 2019, that's still super outdated.
So
but
dated, di ba?
for international viewers, we're in the Philippines. Things are a bit different here. We still have passbooks. Anyway.
Well, and now wala na. Mas online na lahat. But at that time, it's not like I asked him, like, what's inside your bank account? How much money did you make? Or are you making? I never once asked him that.
Yeah.
And Ben, I know you don't mind this. Like, Ben doesn't even own a car to this day. Like, it's right. He had to sell his property. All the money, when you were talking about this, I want to touch on this financial pressure, not just for the business, but it affects the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really affects the family. And that's why I always say I'm so grateful for my work, because especially when the pandemic happened, andun napunta lahat ng resources, diba? And nobody saw that coming. And nobody wishes that on anybody, on yourself, on another person. I'd like to think nobody wishes that on other people, because it's really tough. And talagang ubusan. Tech, it's so expensive. To run a company. And it's, and I don't think there should be any shame in it, because we're not stealing money. We're not we're doing our best. And the dream is still there. And fine, the pandemic happened, pivot. Ang dami ng dance na ginawa. But we're still here. And I was telling Ben, you know what? The fact that you're still here 11 years later, maybe at some point we weren't aligned because he didn't really tell me what exactly was going on in the business.
Everything, yeah.
He didn't tell me everything. And it was only when I found out that everything made sense, I thought he wasn't giving me attention. Syempre, mga Leo, August, it's all about me. Mga artista ako, no? Pag hindi mo ako binigyan ng attention, bye, you don't love me. Yun pala, because it was a hard time. He didn't tell me how hard it was. And when I found out, that was the time, then we had a baby. And that was only the time that everything, I guess, became more clear. And I said, you know what? We're doing this as a team. But, you have to tell me everything.
Yes.
And we're going to do this together, and we're going to see this through. And I think that's why the family is so important.
Yes.
And we didn't have that in the beginning, the guardrails. Actually, we still don't have a spiritual advisor talaga. But at least we're better now. And we thank you for that. We're going to put all these people into place, because it's really hard. It's like really pushing a big boulder up the steepest mountain. That's how it feels like every single day almost. There are great moments, right? But it's difficult. And if you're gonna do it alone, just for your business, without telling your partner in life or your family, it's gonna be even more difficult. But I think if you tell your family and you do it together, then it's going to be a lighter load to carry.
So it's one of these, I think being a founder CEO, and in life, there's a lot of paradoxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so like ER, you were saying earlier, like as a leader, a big part of our role is making everybody else feel safe.
Yeah.
With my journey with Bookie, pandemic hit, all the restaurants were closed. Our business really suffered, and lots of other things were going on, being in the pandemic, and in that period of time, to an extent, I was all the problems were I just kept in my head, and probably with my leadership team at the company, but I didn't want to tell Iza everything. The really tricky thing is, in being a leader, is knowing when to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least on my journey, for most of the times I should have asked for help, it was too late.
Yeah.
I'd wish I'd done it earlier. Like something bad happened before I was actually I opened up.
And not just me, like family, like your parents, everybody.
So it's really a paradox, right? Knowing like how much to really just keep to yourself and handle yourself versus like when do you open up, ask for help?
Yeah.
With a business, very often there's the financial challenges, be it bridging cash flow or something. And then there's obviously the whole mental side too.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with, like you said, we have this thing in our heads where we want to protect
Yeah.
the business, but more importantly, the family.
Yes,
And you want
of
the family to feel safe. So the question is, if you share the burden to the wife, are you planting fear and uncertainty?
Yes.
And then and then you see it, right? And that's why it's important talaga to have, and we are married to like power wives, right? So
Magka-birthday pa
Yeah.
kami.
birthday pa.
Yeah.
So imagine if they feel unsettled, they might get into self-preservation mode, and then you're gonna feel it,
Yeah.
and then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because if you create the feeling of it's not a safe place anymore, you have to solve it also.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the position to deal with it, as a guy, your instinct is to, I will just not tell her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Which is not also the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure as wives, you would rather be told.
Yes.
But we also
Informed.
still have
Informed, yes.
Informed.
we still want to take care of you when you hear it that way.
Yes.
Buti nga ikaw nagsabi ka kay Isa at some point. I never told her anything until like it was too late.
Same.
Until he was busted.
Same. I'm telling you guys, same.
Yes,
Like
I think,
different
yes.
circumstances, but
Different gravity. Oo.
yes.
Well,
But
it's also nature. I
Wala
mean, you
nang
mentioned
choice.
families, right? And families are obviously the most important. But in relation, frankly speaking, maybe not for this episode, but to a degree with investors, it's almost the same thing. Or people that around you, partners, or what people want to prefer to hear positive things, right?
that's true.
And the reality is, and at times I've given the news, as I've matured, I've given the news as is, like raw. This is what's happening with our company.
Yeah.
And I can say, like, a lot of the people I thought I could count on, no, they won't call back.
Yeah.
So it's yes
Right.
and no. I think it's
Yeah.
very good kasi you're saying this, first thing is that, when people ask me, parang, how do you know he's the one? Diba? And you always say that because the very reason why I fell in love with my husband, and also the same reason that I get annoyed with him, is just this stubbornness.
Kala ko okay na eh.
Diba?
Kaya mo kapugihan pa ba?
It's a strength and a weakness at the same
Correct.
time.
Yeah. Oh my
Diba?
God.
Strength and a weakness.
Because he's so stubborn, I know that this guy is going to be persistent, unstoppable in pursuit of his standards of what success looks like. And at the end of the day, that pursuit is not just serving him, but it's serving his family, and to be honest, the entire community.
Gotcha.
He's very determined to help uplift the lives of Filipinos, 'di ba? That was his dream. That was his dream nung nagde-date pa lang kami. And I say that because if you understand that about your spouse, the successes and the failures, you will celebrate it anyways together. And especially in moments where you see your spouse to be at his weakness or most vulnerable, is all the more you will make him feel supported without making him feel weak. Because I'd like to say for me and Iza is that we fell in love with you guys because we understand your heart, but more than anything, your strength. Your strength that whatever happens, you're resourceful. But I think for us, what we just want is that to let you know that okay lang for you to be weak. Because the more you share that part of yourself with us, it makes you even look more sexy, more appealing, more desirable. Because
Vulnerability is a
Why is that
strength,
sexy?
guys.
Is that sexy?
and
And
you know,
maybe if not sexy, it's
appealing.
Real.
Oh, it's real.
raw.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then those are the moments kasi that you really build on the emotional foundation of the relationship. And
Yes.
you know, for me, because I understood ER's childhood na here's a boy who was born na parang alam mo yung maybe his parents would say, "Oh, you eat some more star margarine there because you're very smart eh." Then
He was groomed to be smart.
he grew up.
I don't think it was the margarine.
He grew up with the only expectation that he's born to win.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he thinks he's wired to win.
He is.
Diba?
Yeah, yun eh. These men are wired to
Yes,
win.
and then that's what you constantly hear, diba? And then the very moment of parang that moment of potentially, oh my gosh, I'm not winning. Then, you know, that's why you're married to equally winners
Yeah.
personality, diba? Is that we win together.
I told you this. We win this together.
Yes, yes.
The big thing there, everything makes sense in hindsight. I look back now and I reflect back on why initially I was attracted to Iza. And when you meet somebody, you can't put a finger on it. But like as a relationship has grown, you've seen how they rise up in these challenging moments. And again, in hindsight, it kind of all clicks and makes sense. And when I look back at, so that time I met Iza, I realized at the time, but it was as you said, it's her power. The value systems are aligned. I think I saw that, but what I guess wasn't as clear as I guess what you kind of feel is a force, a power that will conspire to help you succeed in your mission.
Yeah, and because you're a winner, your mindset is that, oh, if I get this person, this girl who's like, you know, everybody's gunning for this girl. She's such a powerhouse. I mean, she's an alpha female. And if I marry an alpha female, that makes me the
Ultimate.
the ultimate alpha. With you adding that burden of the mindset that because I was lucky to marry this girl who's an alpha, therefore, it's my obligation to just take care of her. But taking care is a two-way thing. Diba? So, we recognize the fact that we're also married to an alpha, ambitious, diba? Super ambitious man. Then, we also want to be able to be given an opportunity to also take care of you, be there for you, not just you taking care of us.
Yeah, totally. And honestly, because we live in I don't know, we live in a Filipino culture, pa, especially sometimes I often feel like, you know, when the woman makes more money, I ask myself this, I get frustrated, but I tell myself that's just wiring.
Yeah.
I can unlearn this, you know. If for now I am the one making more money and having to provide, actually, I don't really provide for Ben all the time. I provide for a lot of people in my life. So it's like, first of all, be grateful I'm able to provide. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you to all the brands that I work with. I love you all. But
We're still looking for sponsors for the show.
no, but you know, apart from that, it's like it's okay if the bill is not 50-50 at this point, or if that Ben is not giving me a push gift or a ganyan, all the things that society told us we deserve as women, that we should be taken care of in this way. And then we see it and people ask you, and I tell myself, it's ego.
Yeah, it is.
This has been the ultimate test of my patience and faith as well.
Right.
Not just in Ben, but in God, really, in His timing. Because to me, success came, I can't say easy, but almost, because I've been in the same business, right, for so long. So, syempre, relatively smooth and like a lot in the beginning especially, but also with its ups and downs, right? Mahirap din yung industriya ko. But Ben shifting gears in his 30s was really major. So I said, you know, you gotta give it time, Iza. And I did mention like God is good. I said, Ben, doesn't have a car to this day, but shout out Mercedes-Benz. Thanks so much. He just drove Benz earlier.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. But it's not ours. Thank you to the brand that we work with. Thank you so very much. Thank you to our brands. Diba yung parang, sometimes you don't have to own it for you to feel that, you know, you have it even just for 2 or 3 days. Sa akin, parang, and it doesn't always have to be the most luxurious thing, right? And I think what this journey has taught us is to appreciate the most simple things in life. I know I just said a luxury car brand, but you know, I'm being cheeky and also trying to say thank you to my car sponsor. But it's really appreciating the small, like the simple things in life.
But isn't that like such a beautiful thing though? That this process, what I guess we went through, parang showed us a totally different meaning. And going back to your question, what does this cost the founders? And the reality is, it will cost us our life to be able to push a company out to success. So then I guess the question we need to ask ourselves is, if this is going to cost your life, what do you want this life to reflect? Because if you're doing a business because you just want to optimize for money, then that means that you're ultimately defining your life as that, rather than how you do things, the way other people interact with you, that defines who you are. I feel like then it's a complete paradigm shift, which I think is the best thing that happened in this situation, right? Because you lose your life in the process, and then you get to reevaluate, what do I want my life to really be?
There's still so much to talk about, to learn from each other. So one episode is not enough. Guys, we'll continue this on the next episode of Between Us.
The Pod Network Entertainment. The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.